Hi everybody, and welcome back again to Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology for Yogis. And we're into video number 6, focusing here more on forward bends and twists. And again, I'm joined by the lovely Tanya. Thank you for coming. So we've been through, obviously, a number of other areas. We've looked at standing poses, we've looked at hip openers. So as I said, this video is going to be very much focused on forward bends and twists. A couple of the forward bends we're doing are in standing position. So obviously they're not completely separate, discrete units. So some of the twists and the forward bends will be done in a standing position. Some of them might be done in a seated position. There's different positions for our body that we can be in for the different movements. Yeah. So we're going to focus here on forward bends and twists, and we're going to begin with a standing forward bend. So if you'd like to stand up with me, Tanya, and face towards the mirror in Tadasana, that's it. And then from here, if you take your right leg back, about 3.5 to 4 foot. So it depends obviously how long your legs are. So you want to have enough space that you can then turn your right hip forward so that the hips are facing towards the front of your mat. Yeah. Now, if Tanya was to make a much shorter stance, bringing the back foot in, let's make it too short, then it's very difficult. There's no space to be able to fold forward comfortably, turning the hips in. So we need to have a little bit more space. So typically I would say 3.5 to 4 foot, depending on the length of your legs. Then you want to turn the back foot. I would turn the back foot in slightly more. So even a little more, yes. So by turning the back foot in more, it makes it easier for the hips to be able to turn forward and have your hips facing the front. Again, ideally in this position, you're going to have heel to heel alignment. So the front heel, if you drew a line from your front heel all the way back, it would reach the back heel. But if you're newer to this pose, you may find this hard to balance. Again, you can always take the front leg wider out to the side so that you have a more stable base. Yeah. So this pose is called Parsvottanasana. Yeah. Side intense stretch pose. Yeah. And from here, I'm going to show, or Tanya's going to show, a couple of different variations, but we're going to start with the basic variation. So inhaling the arms up to the sky, and then exhaling, folding forward, bring the hands then finally down to the floor. That's it. Now, in this position here, yeah, she's folded. In this position here, she's keeping the hips square. So I can see, yeah, we don't have this hip motion here with the left hip way forward and the right hip back. So she's externally rotating the left thigh, yeah, externally rotating the left thigh, and she's pulling that left hip bone back and the right hip bone forward. That gets the hip square. Again, keeping the back leg strong, pressing all the way down along the back leg into the back of the heel, keeping that heel down, and also the big toe mound down. So we want a flat foot. We don't want this heel lifted up. Yeah, keep it firmly pressed down. Yeah. Now, for some people, they're not going to be able to get their hands to the floor, in which case we can use one block behind the shin, and you can have the hands on the block. So that's, again, one alternative. If someone's still finding it's difficult to get their hands down to one block, you can take 2 blocks. Let me remove that block. And we put the blocks on either side, again, on the high side and higher up. And if you're really finding that it's just too much in your hamstring, you can put a little bend into the front leg, which takes some of the strain out of the hamstring. But obviously we're working towards that front leg stretching, yeah? Okay, so let's put the hands back to the floor, Tanya. Take the blocks away. So in this pose here, what are we focusing on? What are we working on? Well, the first thing, obviously, is to straighten this left leg requires squeezing the quadricep. Again, always squeezing this muscle here. So make it strong, 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 strong. Squeeze it, pull it in. Yes. So shortening this muscle here extends the leg, extends the knee. Yeah. So that's the first thing here. Then we look at the lower leg. We've got plantar flexion. So she's pointing the foot, pressing the big toe down, in fact, pressing all the toes down, and the ball of the big toe firmly planted down. So we're keeping weight even across the whole foot, the whole of the back of the heel, and the whole of the front of the foot here, the metatarsals. Then the calf muscle here is slightly contracted because when you point your foot, you're squeezing the calf muscles here. So this is not a stretch in the calf muscle in the front leg. It's actually a contraction, a slight contraction in the calf muscle. That's it. Then the rectus abdominis, the six pack, is used to help bring the trunk down. So to fold the trunk forward, she's using that rectus abdominis muscle for that folding down. And then let's look at the back leg now. So in the back leg, got a strong straight back leg here. Again, we're in the quadricep is engaged in order to keep the leg straight. So we've got the squeeze in the quadricep there. Now in the back leg, we are actually stretching into the calf muscle. So the gastrocnemius, the main calf muscle, and the smaller soleus that lies underneath the gastrocnemius, those muscles are being stretched, and we're working in order to keep this angle, this dorsiflexion in the ankle. The tibialis anterior, this muscle along the outside of your tibia, your shin bone, is having to work, contract in order to get that angle. And we're also, pressing, they're making sure that heel is firmly pressed down into the floor. So a number of muscles here being stretched along the back of the body, the hamstrings, the quadriceps here. But the main focus for this pose really is that front leg. So straightening that front leg and bringing the body down, exhaling as you come down over and relaxing the neck. That's it. Coming down as close, bring the body as close as you're able to without bending the front legs. There's no point just to try and get the chest onto the leg to bend the front leg. Then we're losing that stretch in the hamstrings. As I said, we've got the hips square. So now, inhale, come back up, Tanya, and step forward. There we are. So there is a more advanced version, and you maybe switched legs. So just to demonstrate with the other leg. So set yourself up. And this time, Tanya's going to bring her hands into reverse prayer behind her back. So notice, to get the hands behind the back, she had to internally rotate the shoulder. So that internal rotation of the shoulder. So she's using the pectoralis muscle, pectoralis major, and she's also using, again, one of the small rotator cuff muscles. It's called the subscapularis, which creates that internal rotation of the shoulder in order to be able to bring the hand around the back. Then she gets her hands to prayer and she's working to bring the heels of the hands as close as possible to each other. And again, working the hands further up the back is actually easier. If you can get the hands higher up the back, it's a little bit easier. Then from there, as she brings the shoulders back, so her shoulders, it's not the elbows going back, the elbows stay here, the shoulders go back, so she's actually engaging the rear deltoid. There's a squeezing here in the back of the shoulder to keep the shoulders back now. From there, she takes a deep inhale, and exhale, comes forward, 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 coming down into the pose. That's it. And again, working to externally rotate the front leg. keeping the hips square, everything else on the lower body the same as was described earlier. Then inhale, come back up and release the hands and step forward again. Well done. So that was Parshvottanasana, side intense stretch pose. So we're now going to do a twisted standing pose. So for this one, I want you to take your left leg back. That's it. A little bit longer than the last one. So in the last one we were talking about 3.5 to 4 foot. This is a slightly longer stance. So this is called Parivrita Trikonasana. So Trikonasana, remember we did that in an earlier video, triangle pose, extended triangle pose. This is twisted or revolved triangle pose. Yeah. So similar base to the base that we had just now. I personally like to have the legs a little bit further apart. Yeah. And then for most people, again, you may need to use a block to bring under your hand. So you raise the left arm up to the sky, left arm up nice and high. So shoulder flexion, bring the arm up, then extending forward and then bring that left hand down to the outside of the right foot, turning the chest, and then finally raising the right arm vertically up to the sky. That's it. And again, we're looking to do that turn, rotation in the torso here. Now, for some of you, as I said, it's going to be very difficult to reach the floor. So again, you can bring your hand onto a block, makes it a little easier. You can make the block higher if you need to. If that's just too much for you and you cannot get your hand to the outside even on a block, you can put your hand onto your shin and come up higher. That's it. So again, there's different options we can do for this pose. So just come back up to standing again. That's it, and step forward. That's it. Let's change sides because it's quite tiring, this pose. So I'll move the block out the way. And we'll just examine some of the positions of the body. So the lower body, I'm not going to say any more about it because it's exactly the same things that we were talking about in Parshvottanasana. Yeah, so nothing really additional to say there. Tanya, raise your right arm up to the sky. Then as you stretch forward, and then begin to twist, bringing the right arm across the body to the outside of the left foot, then rotating, yes, that's it. Now just stay there for a moment. So this rotation, so Tanya's basically using her obliques, yeah, and the sides of her abdomen, so the obliques in order to get a twist here, and then she's continuing that twist in her thoracic spine, yeah. So the lumbar spine doesn't twist very much. We get a little bit of twist in the lumbar spine, but most of the twisting action actually comes from the middle, yeah, the thoracic spine, where you can see here this rotation, yeah? So bringing the right side of the back in, bring the left side of the back backwards, that's it. And then the top shoulder again, she's pulling the top shoulder back and then raising that top arm up to the sky. There. So again, we want to get that vertical line. Nice twist there. So slightly pulling in the belly. So we increase the intra-abdominal pressure. So that slight pulling in of the belly here, that just helps to stabilize the spine. There. And then this arm vertically up. And then you can finally look up at the top hand. That's it, turning the head. So again, we're using the muscles in the neck, the sternocleidomastoid, to help turn the head, but we're not going to focus too much on that. And then release the hand to the floor, and then step the back foot forward, and inhale, come all the way back up. Well done. Thank you. Not an easy pose to hold for a long time while I'm talking, huh? All right. So we're going to give Tanya a little bit of a break from standing poses, and we're going to come down to the floor. So I'd like you to sit down again with the feet pointing towards the mirror. That's it. So again, I'm going to look at another twisted pose here. This is called Marichayasana 3. And in Marichayasana 3, we're going to focus on the preparation. So Marichayasana 3, the full pose, is not really a beginner's pose, but we can do a modified version of Marichayasana 3. So if you'd like to bend your right leg, bring the right heel in close. That's it. And you'll notice that there's a little gap between the inside of Tanya's foot and the leg. So even can make it a little wider. Bring that foot out a little more, not too much there. So we've got a little bit of a gap between the inside of Tanya's right foot and her inner left thigh. Yeah. Then from there, she can continue to support herself with her right hand behind. And then she keeps, again, the left leg completely straight. Yeah, again, engaging the quadriceps on the left leg, squeezing the thigh muscle, toes pointing straight up. Yeah, all the same things we've talked about before. The foot pointing, toes pointing to the ceiling. So we're engaging a little bit the tibialis anterior muscle. And also making sure we don't turn the foot inwards. So we're also engaging the muscles on the outside of the lower leg, the peroneus muscles, or the fibularis muscles, as they're also called. Then from here, Tanya's going to raise her left arm to the sky, big inhale. As she exhales, she's going to bring that arm across, that's it, getting across, and she can use the back of the arm against the leg and the leg against the arm as a lever in order to twist. That's it. And the hand behind is helping her to extend. So she inhales, she lengthens the spine. As she exhales, she focuses on the twist. That's it there. So again, in this position, the hamstring muscles here are engaged in order to bend the knee. Yeah, so that's one of the muscles in this leg that's engaged. Yeah, if we look at the torso here, again, we've got that rotation. So the oblique muscles here, you have two sets. I'm not going to go into the detail because it's, again, too complicated. But you have external obliques and internal obliques. And the external obliques on one side work together in unison with internal obliques on the other side of the body. So the obliques are basically working here to help turn the abdomen. And then again, she's using rotator muscles, rotational muscles in her back to help this rotation through, again, mainly in the thoracic spine, a little bit in the lower back, in the lumbar spine, but not so much. And then if the head turns towards me, yeah, then she's also using the cervical spine, yeah, turning the head so the whole back turns, yeah. And again, this elbow here is come across. And then as she pushes that elbow against, as she pushes the elbow against the leg, there's a slight external rotation. As she pushes away against the outside of the thigh. So this is Marichayasana 3 prep pose. Then if you were going to do the full pose, which is not a beginner pose, yeah, then you actually bind the arm. So then you have to internally rotate that left arm, bring the left arm around the leg. That's it. And then she brings the other hand around and she binds and grips, either taking the wrist, or if you can't reach the wrist, you hold the fingers in this bound position here. Yeah. And then once she's got that bound position, she still tries to open the chest as much as she's able to, yeah, lifting up the chest. There we are. And then release, turn to the front and release your leg and give them a little shake out. There we are. So 3 poses there: Parshvottanasana, Parivrita Trikonasana, and Marichayasana 3. 3 different poses. The first one a forward bend, and the second and third one are both twists involved as well. Yeah. So we're going to do now a little sequence again, which you're welcome to join in. So let's come to standing again, if you would, Tanya, at the front of your mat. So from standing, just to get into the next sequence, I want you, Tanya, to inhale into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to Uttanasana, forward folding pose. Then inhale, look forward and step the left leg back. That's it. And bring the back knee down and raise the torso. That's it. That's it. Now, Tanya's pointing the foot. You can either point the foot or you can tuck the toes under. Tucking the toes under gives you usually a little bit more stability. So I would generally recommend having toes tucked under here. And again, the hips square to the front. Then Tanya's going to raise her left arm to the sky with a big inhale. And as she exhales, she's going to bring the left arm across the body over the right thigh. That's it. She can use her right hand against the leg to help push and get over more as she exhales to bring the elbow deeper. And then she can bring the hands to prayer. And often people will have the prayer by their heart, by their shoulder. We want to get the prayer more into the center of the chest. So to do that, you've got to turn, you've got to open the chest, and you've got to lengthen so that the hands now come into the center line. That's it. Then release the hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. That's it. Inhale, look forward, step the left foot between the hands. Back knee down, raise the torso, right arm up to the sky, big inhale, exhale, twist the right arm over, and again, we use the left hand to help us get it over maybe, and then we bring hands to prayer, finding the hands to the center of the chest, right in line with the sternum, that's it, and again, looking upwards. One more breath there. Release the hands to the floor. Step back downward facing dog. Well done. Again, step the right foot forward. Inhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. That's it. Back knee down. Raise the torso. So we're going to come back into that starting position. Raise the left arm up to the sky. And then exhale, twisting. Coming back into that twist. Hands in prayer. Then, just for balance, keep the twist, but just look down towards the floor. Press through the toes of the left leg as you straighten the back leg, lifting the back knee up. So we're engaging that quadricep, squeezing. So there. So the more you squeeze the back leg, the more stable you'll be. Then you can turn your gaze, if you wish, back up. That's it. But that's, again, a little harder for balance. You'll find when you turn the gaze back up, some people will go wobbly. So it's less important. You can turn the head just to the side, or you can turn the head all the way, gazing up to the ceiling. Hands to the floor, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Other legs. Inhale, step the left foot forward between the hands, back knee down, set yourself up, raise the torso. Right arm up to the sky, exhaling, twisting across, finding the pose with the hands in the center of your chest. Then we're looking down the floor, you press through the toes of the back leg and you lift the back knee up away from the floor. That's it. Pressing the arm against the leg, keeping the knee pressing outwards against the arm. That's it. And we want to keep this hip raised. We don't want the hip to collapse down. So keeping the right hip raised here. One more breath. And then release the hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. That's it. Step both feet between the hands. One after the other. Both feet. And exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way back up again. And release the hands to the heart center and back to Tadasana. Well done. Then from here, Tanya's going to take her left leg back about 3.5 foot, 3.5 to 4 foot, not too long. Yeah, a little longer than that, a bit longer. That's it. Turning the hips to face forward. Then inhale, raise both arms to the sky. Exhale, folding forward to our Parsvottanasana. Remember, keeping the hips square, folding forward, keeping that front leg as straight as you can. That's it, breathing there. Take one more breath. Then inhale, step the back foot forward, left foot forward, and exhale, Uttanasana, folding. Inhale, come all the way up, big stretch. And exhale, hands to the heart center and release. Now take the right leg back again, 3.5 to 4 foot, depending how long your legs are. Setting yourself up, get the hips to be square. Make sure your back foot is turned well in, 60-degree angle or 30-degree turn in, from the back. Again, inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. That's it. Keeping the hips square, so this is nicely square. Her left hip and right hip, and a nice straight line. If I drew a line along her hips, the seam of the pants would be level with in parallel with the front of her mat. That's it. That's it. Then inhale, look forward, step the right foot forward, and exhale, Uttanasana, folding. Inhale, come all the way up, big stretch, and release the hands to the heart center and back to Tadasana. Again, take the left leg back just a little bit longer. That's it, and set yourself up. There. Then left arm up to the sky, big inhale. Exhale, bring the left arm forward, stretching, and then down across the outside of the right foot. Then start to turn the chest. Then extend the arm up to the sky. Parivrita Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. That's it. And again, using blocks if you need to, raising the hand onto the shin if it's too difficult to get the hand down to a block or the floor. That's it. And then release the right hand to the floor, hands either side. Step the left foot forward with an inhale, and exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, coming all the way up, big stretch. And exhale, hands to the heart center and release, Tadasana. Changing sides. So this time taking the right leg back. That's it, setting up the leg position. Raise the right arm to the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, twisting, first extending forward, then twisting across the body. That's it, turning the chest. And then finally, the last part of the action, raising the arm vertically up towards the sky. That's it. So again, it's not the easiest pose to balance. Parivrita Trikonasana is quite challenging actually as a balance, to find the balance point. And then release the left hand to the floor, hands either side. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart center and release the hands. That's it, lovely. Let's come down to the floor now. That's it, extend the legs straight out in front of you. And then bending that right leg in for Marichasana 3 prep. So bring the foot in. Again, having a little gap between the inside of the right foot and the inside of the left thigh. That's it. Then having the right hand behind on the fingers for support. Raise the left arm to the sky with a big inhale and twist the arm over. That's it. That's it. So using that hand. And again, if you happen to have rather short arms and in order to keep the back vertical, your hand's not reaching the floor, well then you'd put a block underneath the hand in order to be able to get that leverage off the floor. So again, we're all built with different length limbs and torsos and legs, so we need to use the props intelligently in order to decide how we're going to best get into the pose. And then turn back to the front, release, and extend the leg out in front of you. That's it. Change sides. So left leg, Left hand behind, raise the right arm up, big inhale, exhale, twisting the right arm over. That's it. And then pushing that arm against the leg to help you with the twist. That's it. And then bringing this hand a little bit further back enables you to just work on the twist a little bit more. That's it. And then you can turn the head towards the back as well, so you get that rotation in the neck. That's it. One more breath. Then inhale back to front and release the leg. Give the legs a little shake out. That's it. Okay, cross the right leg over the left leg now. That's it. Keeping the right foot flat down. So don't let the foot come onto the foot sword. We want to keep the foot flat down. Now, tuck your left leg under. Tucking the left leg under. Bend the left knee. That's it. So we're going to come into Ardha Matsyendrasana now. That's it. So again, right hand behind for support. Yeah, left arm up to the sky, big inhale, exhale, twisting it over, using that back of the arm, so there's that pressure. So we're using the rear deltoid, pushing back against the arm. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes pose. Yeah. Again, a really nice twist, and we're thinking about lengthening from the lower back. Yeah, we don't want to be dropping down. Yes, nice. So we're getting more length on the inhale. Exhale is when we do the twist. And release back to the front, release the legs. That's it. And change sides. Cross the left leg over, tuck the right leg under, and then have the left hand behind you for support. Right arm up, big inhale, exhale, twist. That's it. And then pressing that arm against the leg to help you get a deeper twist. See how Tanya's keeping her foot flat down. She's using the back of the arm, pressing against the outside of her thigh, lower thigh, in order to be able to help get the twist. So that pushing action, yeah? Here, so I can feel that muscles working, yeah? And then inhale back to center and release the legs, yeah? So that's Ardha Matsyendrasana. Now we're going to do one more forward bend. So bending the right leg, that's it. Now this one is not a twist, this is simply a forward bend. So from here, Tanya's going to raise both arms up to the sky, big inhale. She's going to lean forward, stretch forward first, and then with her right arm, she's going to internally rotate the right shoulder and bring the right arm around the leg. That's it. And then take the left hand around the back and bind. So again, for most people, they'll be grabbing the fingers. Eventually you're looking to take the right hand all the way around to grab the left wrist. But that's if you, again, have long enough arms and if you're flexible enough to be able to get to that position. That's it. And we're being cautious that we don't let this knee fall outwards. We're keeping the knee pointing up towards the ceiling. That's it. And then release the bind. Inhale, come back up. And release the leg. Change sides. Left leg. That's it. Then stretch up. Exhale, come forward first. Then bring the left arm around, round. Then take the right hand to meet the left and see if you can, that's it, bind. So if you can't bind, don't worry. You try and bring the arm around and lean forward. And maybe there's a gap. And you can use a yoga strap or a towel or something in order to be able to just feel that connection of the two hands, yeah? Because some of you may not be able to get your fingers to bind behind your back in this position. So this is Marichayasana number 1. And then release the hands. Come back up. And relax. Have a little shake out of the legs, everybody. We're going to do another pose here. It's one of the longest names in Sanskrit. Triang Mukha Ikapada Paschimottanasana. A bit of a mouthful. What that means, Triang, three angle, Mukha, face, Ikapada is one leg, and Paschimottanasana is the west-facing pose, yeah? So it's a very long name for this pose. So this time, I want you to bring your right foot back behind you. So there's an internal rotation here, yeah? We're internally rotating the thigh and the hip. Then from here, again, if you find that in this position, for some people, if they're tighter, they'll be leaning over. They won't be, this butt cheek will be up and they'll be falling over to the side. If that's you, then you want to place a couple of blankets under the left buttock cheek to bring yourself back more. So you would put some blankets under here. So you want to keep your hips level rather than be tipping over to one side. That's it. Again, this foot in a nice straight line coming back. Yeah. So again, if you find you're very tight in your ankle, you may want to put a rolled towel underneath the front of the ankle just to support, so it doesn't put too much pressure here if you're tighter in your plantar flexion. Yeah. Then from there, inhale both arms up to the sky. Exhale, folding forward. So again, another forward bend, but with the right leg here in internal rotation, compared to, if you remember, Janu Shirshasana, that hip opener, where we had the external rotation of this leg. That's it. Couple more breaths here. That's it, keeping that length in the spine. Then inhale, come back up. And then lean to the left, release your right leg back forward again. That's it. And then we want to change sides. And again, if you're using blankets, you'll have to move the blankets to the other side. All right, then inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Coming down, keeping those hips square. That's it. And try and bring that knee in a little bit closer. There, that's it. A couple more breaths here. Then inhale, come back up. Just slightly lean to the right hand side, release the left leg. Give them a little shake. And there we are. So there was some forward bends and twists that we looked at. In the next video, we're going to look at chest opening, back bends. So until then, thank you.